The little kingdom might run on magic, but it's powered by animation mistakes. Seriously, from teleporting elves to disappearing pudding, Ben and Holly is a goldmine of hilarious animation errors you'll never unsee. Let's count down the funniest blunders the animators accidentally snuck into the show. Our first mistake occurs in the two-part Ben and Holly's Christmas special, and it's one of the strangest size swap moments in the whole show. In part 1, Nanny Plum panics when the big people start heading their way. To keep the little castle hidden, she casts a shrinking spell, but accidentally shrinks Queen Thistle along with it. Moments later, Father Christmas shows up, mistakes the tiny castle for a toy, and flies off to the North Pole, with the Queen still trapped inside. Cut to part 2. Queen Thistle is still tiny when the castle ends up inside Lucy's living room. So far, so consistent. But here's where the glitch hits. When Lucy asks,
"Are you okay?"
Queen Thistle replies,
"I'll be fine once I'm my own size again."
and if you pause right there, you can see that she really has been shrunk. She is visibly smaller than King Thistle. But a few scenes later, when the elf helicopter lands and everyone gathers on the table, she's suddenly back to her normal height, standing right beside King Thistle, perfectly level, like nothing ever happened. No spell, no explanation, no poof. Just one very confused royal couple and a Christmas miracle that apparently fixed the queen's height off screen. And that's not the only Christmas mystery in this episode, and if you watch the final moments carefully, when everyone is crowded around the dinner table, you'll spot the wise old elf and the pink-haired elf jump down from the Christmas tree to join the others. But by the time Father Christmas wakes up, they've vanished completely. Everyone else is still there, except them. So either they got bored halfway through Christmas dinner and flew home early, or the animators simply forgot to invite them back for dessert. If there's one thing Ben and Holly does best, it's turning chaos into magic. But in this episode, the magic might have gone just a little too far. In Mrs. Witch's spring clean, Nanny Plum decides to help tidy up Mrs. Witch's cottage, which, to be fair, looks like it hasn't seen a dustpan in about 200 years. That's when the trouble begins. Instead of throwing everything away properly, Nanny gives the junk to everyone else. Holly takes a magic mirror, Ben gives his mom a genie lamp, and the wise old elf takes a carpet he thinks is just a normal rug. Spoiler alert, it's not. Before long, all that witch magic starts causing chaos across the little kingdom. The lamp's genie forces everyone to dance, the mirror gives Queen Thistle a very bad hair day, and the wise old elf's cozy carpet flies him straight into the sky, shouting for help. It all ends with everyone rushing back to Mrs. Witch's house, where everything is a mess covered in jam, rubbish, and magic chaos. Thankfully, Mrs. Witch manages to put everyone right again, and that's when the real magic mistake happens. When the camera cuts back outside her cottage, everything is suddenly spotless. Just moments before, it was a disaster, and now it's squeaky clean. Even stranger, the magic carpet is suddenly lying neatly on the ground with a few random bits on top, but no wise old elf in sight. He was flying on it seconds ago. So where did he go? So either Mrs. Witch secretly moonlights as a 1-second cleaning service, or the animators decided to magic their way out of drawing one more messy shot. Either way, that's one spring clean that even Nanny Plum would call a little too magical. Now, this next mistake might just be one of the most magically confusing moments in all of Ben and Holly's little kingdom. In Elf Rescue, Nanny Plum and the wise old elf end up stuck in a muddy mess by the lake. When their cries for help echo across the kingdom, Ben, Holly, and the others spring into action, forming their own rescue team. We see the group all standing together, ready to save the day. Rosie's there, Holly's there, everyone's accounted for. But the second they start running to help, Rosie's gone, just vanished. And yet somehow, when they reach the swampy lake where Nanny Plum and the wise old elf are stuck, Rosie's magically back again, standing perfectly fine like she teleported ahead of everyone. Guess she didn't want to get her shoes dirty. But the disappearing act doesn't stop there. Now keep your eye on Strawberry. When Holly says she's going to use her magic to pull the wise old elf out of the mud, Strawberry is right beside her one moment and gone the next, completely missing from the shot. Then, when the rescue's all over and they're being flown home in the elf rescue ship, there she is again, sitting happily like nothing ever happened. So where did Rosie and Strawberry go? Maybe they ran off to grab biscuits from the rocket, or maybe they just didn't fancy hanging around in the mud. Either way, this rescue mission seems to have included a few extra rescues, the animators trying to save 2 missing elves from their own continuity chaos. The elves in Ben and Holly are supposed to be organized, precise, careful, but during Nanny Plum's magic test, even the animators seem to have failed theirs. The wise old elf gives Nanny a huge rock to move, part of her grown-up exam to prove she can handle serious magic. She hesitates for half a second, then gives it a try, and that's when things start going downhill. As the enormous boulder lifts into the air, you can see it heading straight for the Great Elf Tree, home of Mr. and Mrs. Elf. Look closely, the left window is shut tight, while the right window is wide open with Mrs. Elf standing in it. Then boom, the rock smashes into the tree, and suddenly Mr. Elf pops right out of that same closed window shouting,
"Whose rock is that?"
Only problem, the window never opens. It's completely shut the whole time. So unless Mr. Elf just phased through solid glass like a superhero, there's no logical way he got out of there alive, or at least without a serious headache. Maybe the elves secretly installed teleportation tech in their tree, or someone in the animation department forgot that windows are supposed to open before characters jump through them. If you ever thought Daisy and Poppy occasionally cause chaos, this episode proves they are full-time agents of magical destruction. It all starts harmlessly enough. The twins escape with Holly's wand, turn Fleur into a kitten twice, fly off into the sky, and then discover the most dangerous spell a magical baby can learn.
Bunny rabbit.
Suddenly, every elf in the meadow is bouncing around as a rabbit, including Mr. Elf, and somehow we end up with two Mr. Elf bunnies hopping side by side. One of them must definitely be asking for overtime, but the chaos doesn't stop when Nanny Plum arrives and reverses the spells. When everyone is turned back, Holly and Fleur's wands are clearly lying on the floor, abandoned after the magical meltdown. Yet in the very next shot, Holly is suddenly holding her wand again. Unless she's secretly the Flash, this is pure animation panic. And here's the cherry on the disaster cake. When Nanny Plum says,
"We've got a lot of tidying up to do,"
Holly Cat and Fleur Cat are sitting there smiling like two perfectly behaved kittens. But one frame later, they're both frowning, like they've suddenly realized they're the ones who actually have to do all the tidying. Our next animation mistake begins innocently enough. Just another cozy evening at the little castle in the episode Dinner Party. King Thistle, Queen Thistle, and Holly are tucking into dinner while the twins throw food around in the background. All perfectly normal. Everything's going well until Nanny Plum serves dessert. It's treacle sponge pudding with custard. Simple, classic, and about to become a visual disaster. When Nanny magically shrinks the giant pudding down to a reasonable size, the custard that was surrounding it just vanishes. 1 second it's there, golden and gloopy, the next, gone. Either the custard evaporated in protest, or it was simply too ashamed to be part of whatever just happened. And this, of course, is when trouble really begins. Right after dinner, King Thistle gets a call from King and Queen Marigold, the snobbiest royals in the kingdom. They invite the Thistles over for dinner, and naturally, King Thistle tries to show off. He brags that they have the best cook in the world, and before you know it, Nanny Plum is ordered to prepare a modern dinner for the Marigolds instead. But when Nanny starts cooking the fancy meal, things get messy again. In the kitchen, you can see 4 plates lined up, each one letting off one tiny wisp of steam. Delicate, elegant, minimalist. Then, as soon as she carries those exact plates out to the dining table, every single one suddenly has 3 trails of steam instead. Either the food reheated itself on the walk over, or the animators got a little carried away with the special effects. And just to top it off, when Nanny serves the soup, Ben and Holly are seated one way. But when the kings and queens walk into the kitchen a few seconds later, the two of them have mysteriously swapped places. So to sum up, first the custard disappears, then the steam multiplies, and finally the children teleport across the room. Our final mistake comes from the episode Father's Day, and it's a pretty big royal slip-up. When Princess Holly surprises her dad, King Thistle, with breakfast in bed, he looks thrilled and says,
"Every day could start like this."
But then Queen Thistle drops the truth bomb.
But every day does start like this. You always have breakfast in bed.
Wait, what? If that's true, then every single other episode where we see King Thistle eating downstairs at the royal table suddenly doesn't make any sense. So which is it, King Thistle? Do you start your mornings with royal room service, or sneak downstairs for round 2? Knowing King Thistle, maybe the answer's simple. He's greedy enough for both. 2 breakfasts, 1 king. Now that's royal living. And there you have it, some of the funniest, strangest, and downright baffling animation mistakes hiding inside Ben and Holly's little kingdom. But now it's your turn. Did you spot any we missed? Drop your favorite mistake in the comments below, and who knows, it might make it into our next video. And if you love catching these hidden blunders as much as we do, please check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.